All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James.
And I am Ryan.
And let's go ahead and roll that intro.
Oh, I
Sorry,
bet you Dave Splain's bones are really rattling right now.
getting distracted by my dogs yapping their heads off in the background over here.
Maybe that's just David Splain's way of letting you know he's watching you.
Maybe. I hope so.
Oh,
'Cause
you hope so.
I'll even leave my window open for him.
He's a peeping David.
Hey, get a load of this.
Well, the sad thing about that is there's a likely possibility that he would be the kind to do that. I feel like those kind of men that are in the purity culture have some kind of deep-seated, twisted, sick idea of like perversion.
Oh yeah,
I said it.
absolutely.
I said it. I
Absolutely.
said it.
They're the biggest closeted perverts you'll probably ever meet in your life.
Mm-hmm. And
Or
some of the perversion is right out in the open with some of the stuff they're saying. So
yes. And that is not the news
anyhow,
that we were reporting on this morning.
sorry, you guys, off on a tangent already, talking about David Splain. Not even really the guy we're focusing on today. What
No.
the hell?
What in the hell? So, anyways, let's get started with our news. Let's start with your story this morning because this is the big one we have
Oh,
going
the
on.
biggin.
The big one.
Is it the biggin? Well, let me present the biggin. It's a biggin, but I got a clarification on the biggin. But let's just take a look at what's happening in Norway. So it was discovered. Oh, let me just zoom in a little bit. If it let's, oh, you know what? Oh, here we go. Because it's like a PDF. It's like the real deal. That's better. Not that we could really read it because it's in a different language. So this was released yesterday or within the past day or two. A document that the Jehovah's Witnesses have signed in Norway by Jorgen Peterson, who is the branch. He's one of the branch committee. I don't know his exact position. Do you know? I believe he's just a member of the branch committee.
I think he's just part of the branch committee over there.
Okay. That's what I thought too. So he's like a representative in Norway for the Jehovah's Witnesses, and he signed this document or ticked a box. And the box says, let's just read what the box says. And this is from our friend Judge Flems, gave me the translation. The religious or religious association granted must make use of the state subsidy for religious or religious ceremonies. Okay, that's important. And then they go to mention like the act and the specific paragraph. That's not matter. So he checks the box that says, I confirm on behalf of the faith or belief community that we are familiar with the conditions for receiving grants and will comply with these. So he ticks a box that says he's following all the laws, that they are using this money for religious ceremonies or to help their congregations, what have you. And I find that to be a complete lie because number one, we know they're not complying. They've not stopped their shunning policy. They are actively fighting it by trying to take it to court. And I got this little update from Jan, and I'll bring that up too in a second, because he made a slight correction for me, which I absolutely appreciate because it's not about being right. It's about being as accurate as we possibly can. So I reported on the Jehovah's Witnesses signing a document believing that meant that they were going to stop shunning because it says I'm complying with the law. Well, that is not why they signed it. They signed it preemptively hoping that somehow they were going to win that a decision would be made in their favor. So that way, as soon as that decision is made, they can boom, collect their dollar bills. So Jan tells me that it is a bit misleading, and it was, because it's not really what's happening. The Watchtower have objected to the conclusion. They never accepted the ruling and filed a lawsuit against it, which we knew. We knew they were doing this all in court. So in the meantime, they fill out the forms so that way if they win in court, they won't. And I agree. I do not believe that they're going to win. They've already filled the paperwork in for this year, so they can collect their moolah. The Watchtower haven't accepted that anything will change or admitted to any wrongdoing. They will fight this for many years to come. So we want to give a huge shout out to Jan for keeping us up to date on everything that's going on in Norway, because Jan is really part of this whole thing. So if something happens in Norway, Jan is going to be the first person to know. And they did tell me that I can reach out to them, which is just so sweet. So anytime there's any like news dropping on Norway, I'm gonna refer to the expert before I get anybody excited. Though I still think it's important to note they signed paperwork stating they're following the law when that is a lie.
Absolutely. And this is all coming after Tony Morris got up there. Now former governing body member Tony Morris, of course, got up there and said that they are not going to change
Bye,
their
Tony.
policy. Yeah, bye.
Kiss my ass, Tony.
And so that's also part of the reason why they set up that new office for the relations with the government over there as well, so they could, make it look more palatable to these governments that they're trying to appease them. So really all they're doing is trying to set up a system of kissing the government's ass to get the money that they lost. And really, like you just said, they're not going to change their policies. They're going to probably rename the policy or rename it. So they might not call it just fellowshipping. They'll call it something else.
Right.
But we'll all know what it means. But just to appease the authorities, they'll give it another name.
Right. And that is such a huge fear. Is that what will happen?
Yeah.
That they'll continue their horrid practices, but change the names so they'll be able to collect their money. Because I know that they have to be feeling that if it's happening in Norway, it can happen somewhere else, right? They've lost in Russia already. Like they're boop, boop, boop out the door in Russia. So it's just a matter of time that other governments start to pick up on what they're doing. And the fact that they're not using this money. Like, I'd love for somebody to throw open the books and say, like, okay, are you using this for your religious ceremonies, to help your congregants, to do work for people in your area as like a community service? Because they're supposed to be doing, and they're not. I want to see that info. Side note.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've also been known to change the names of things in the organization before. Like, used to be presiding overseer, and now it's like congregation servant or some, different names for different things. And they do that. And if you actually look from the outside of the organization's perspective and you see and know what is going on behind the scenes, you could probably see a pattern of laws are happening and changing, and fines or whatever's coming down on them. So they have to change names of things to avoid either legal fees or to get their money, things like that. And it's just all a game of cat and mouse with them when it comes to these things.
And semantics. I mean, come on. You're going to keep the same practice, right? We're hypothetical situation here. You keep the same practice, but you change it and call it something. Maybe I don't know. Somebody said marked, because we already used the term marked, or they already used the term marked. So maybe it would just be marked because it's already in their documentation what a marked person is. So everyone who knows this word would know, okay, we still got to like shun this person. But to the public, it's just an indication that maybe we should watch ourselves around them.
Right.
Whoever have.
I mean, it also goes along the same lines as like they'll say, oh, well, we don't tell our members they can't get blood transfusions. That's up to them whether they do it or not. but the consequences will all still be the same, whether you call it shunning, marked, whatever you want to call it. The exact consequences will be the same, and I think that's something that the community needs to make these governments more aware of, is that watch out, they're going to change the name of it, but it's going to still entail the same exact thing as
Right.
what the original term was.
Mm-hmm. Ah, damn. I just really need to know, because we all know that Tony stood on a center stage and said, "We will not change our policy on shunning. This comes directly from God, from God's
Mm-hmm.
lips to our ears." And now Tony's gone. So is that any indication? I don't know. But damn, if there's not so much stuff dropping right now, I'm waiting for
But
another shoe to drop.
see, like, this also makes me think more, is this why Tony was removed as a governing body member? Because these things keep coming out about it. So right after he gets removed, now we have this coming out about, Norway, not letting them disfellowship anymore, and then them signing the paperwork saying that we're going to follow your laws. I mean, it's just like,
Yeah,
it's so many coincidences happening at once.
I know that it exactly. So sometimes I don't know what to think. Like, I jumped on that thing with Norway yesterday. I was like, "Oh my God, like, what's happening? What's this?" And it's really just another one of their games.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? It is what it is. Like, we are, for the most part, not we, but you understand what I'm saying. XJWs are the only people really discussing these things. So
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be some lapse, there's going to be some mistakes made, but ultimately we're talking about it, we're getting it out there, and I'm hoping eventually more and more news coverage, like actual professional news coverage, will be
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
So we got to keep pushing it. Regardless if we make mistakes, we just correct it and keep moving, whatever.
And that's exactly it. And that gives you, I think, more trust in reporting these things. Hey, we made a mistake. We'll come back and say, hey, look, we made an error. We're correcting this error. We said something wrong, whatever.
Right.
But unlike the JW organization, they're just going to change the name of things, and just like, you
I
have
have
like
new
the three
light. Ryan has new
three
light.
yeah, the light of Ryan.
The light of Ryan keeps getting
But
dimmer.
see, that's just what's going to happen to. Oh well, we got new light. Well, you don't have to shun no more, but you're still marked or whatever. Exactly. Yep. The
They are.
semantics.
It's all wordplay and coded language that if you're on the inside, you understand what is being said, but if you're on the outside, you don't necessarily get what's going on. So they absolutely have that ability to just kind of change some simple wording and nothing really changes. Yeah.
It's like that. Reminds me of that song from Stained, where it says, "I'm on the outside and I'm looking in. I can see through you, see to the real you."
Oh,
And
I can see through.
yeah,
Yeah.
and really, that's what the XJWs are. We are on the outside looking in, but since we've been on the inside, we can see
Mm-hmm.
through all their bullshit.
Mm-hmm. We know their games. We know what they're playing. Um, it's just a matter of them tripping themselves up, which I do believe is going to happen because these are a bunch of numbskulls with no training. So yeah.
Yeah.
If they're so willing to fill out that paperwork, regardless of how it looks, just for the money, like all about the money, like, we see what you're after. We see where your heart is. Makes
Hmm.
me sick. It makes me sick, but
Yeah.
we know exactly what they're doing.
And that's all this is just to get that money that they lost.
Hmm.
When really, we already know they can afford to lose it at the moment.
Hmm. At the
But
moment,
at the
but
moment, but we want to keep seeing them lose it in more and more places,
yeah.
like Japan, for instance.
Oh, what's happening in Japan?
How about how
Something going
about
on
that?
over there.
How about that for a segue?
Oh, slick, smooth, like a professional.
Trying to be. It Professionalism does fail me most times, though.
That's all
Let's
right.
see.
We don't
I'm
get
gonna
paid that much for this job, so
right. So in Japan, I'll make this a little bit bigger for everybody to see. There is lawyers that are forming a group to support the children of JWs. So yeah, that's a big thing because
That's so awesome.
they
I
are
love it.
seeing violations of their human rights. And these lawyers are second generation witnesses or ex-witnesses now. But
Oh, they are. I
yeah,
didn't even catch that part. All
yeah,
snap.
yeah. And this article was only from March 1st, so not too long ago. And it says here the group reported to the health ministry that the religious group continued to require its followers to refuse blood transfusions, even after the ministry released in December its guidelines for dealing with abuse against children of religious group followers, which recognize that forcing them to refuse blood transfusions amounts to neglect.
It is.
So that is huge. The wording of that article right there is huge because it is neglectful of them to not let their children get a transfusion if they need it. Because
Right.
there's more than just, trauma induced instances that you need one.
Oh my
There's other
God.
instances like leukemia and
Yeah.
other stuff that, if you don't get it, you're going to die.
I think sickle cell anemia, I think it might even be a regular thing for them that they have to um, continuously get like transfused. I mean, there's so many people who just have low iron for whatever reason. They don't absorb iron, what have you, and need like I'm anemic. But they want people, they would be happy for those people with those, I don't know, disabilities, diseases, whatever you call it, to just die. Like, could you like, I feel like it's not fair for them to go door to door and give people this idea of great news of God's kingdom without being upfront like, "Oh, hey,
Hmm.
FYI, if you have any of these like diseases where you need a blood transfusion, you're not going to be able to get them anymore." Like,
Right.
are you ever going to be able to win over anybody like that? I don't think
Oh,
so.
and also, by the way, if you ever decide to leave our religion after you join it, everybody's going to shun you.
Right. That sounds like the truth that they should be giving people when they knock on the
Oh,
door.
oh
What
boy,
really
sign
will
me
happen?
up! I can't wait to start shunning people.
Woo! This is
That's
awesome.
my kind of religion to be in. We get to shun
Yeah.
people and let them die. Hell yeah!
Wasn't that Jesus' golden rule?
Yeah, right.
Shun people the way you would like to be
Shun onto
shunned.
others the way they would shun onto you.
Oh, my poor puppy.
Uh,
She's like, "What are you doing, crazy?"
oh, I'm noticing this advertisement here on the screen for this shirt here because I'm a welder. Yes, I know I'm on fire. Let me finish this weld.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it's so true too.
Those advertisements, man, they know how to advertise to you.
Yep.
Did you notice the comment that said you get an A for your transition?
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you, Haven.
Okay. We just want to make sure that we mark the appropriate
Yeah,
notions on your.
I'll be sure to turn in my council form after the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. How about we go into just a quick little update what's happening in Pennsylvania? I don't know
Yes.
too much, but there is a little bit of an update so far. Can you see that okay?
Make it a little bit bigger if you
A
can.
little bit bigger. Whoa, hey-oh. Well, damn,
Oh,
that did
I
it.
didn't say 80-year-old woman bigger.
Let me get my glasses.
Right?
Let me put my glasses on. Okay, so from what I can tell from reading this article, there has been 3 indictments of men, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, who abused children in Pennsylvania, and also this amazingly brave woman from Pittsburgh who is telling her story about what happened to her starting at the age of 12 from I'm not sure if it was an elder or ministerial servant, but somebody who had a position of authority. And um, she unfortunately, excuse me, this young woman's parents trusted this man because he has this position of authority, and he ended up harming her. And finally, now she's getting to tell her story and helping with the grand jury investigation into abuses being covered up in Pennsylvania. And once this gets blown out of the water, I have a feeling that it could start investigations into other states. So I believe they called her EJ. I'm not sure what her name is. Yes, EJ.
Well, I
If
mean,
you see
according
this,
according to this article, her name is Jezebel.
oh, right. And isn't that disgusting,
It
though?
is. It
Isn't
is.
that effing disgusting to say? Like, first off, y'all know how I feel about Jezebel. Jezebel did no wrong. She just fell to the patriarchy. She was a woman who had her own power, authority, did her own business. She was elite. She spoke different languages, and they murdered her on purpose. And then they used this story to call like a young girl. That's deplorable. It's
That
really
is.
just sad.
It
But I
is.
am just, if you see this, EJ, I just want you to know that I am so thankful for all the victims who are standing up. And I know this must be super difficult to talk about and relive, to constantly have to relive. But you were going to blow this thing so wide open. We love you. We appreciate you. We hope you're getting everything that you need so you can heal and recover, and just know you have a community like cheering you on. We're just thankful that you're doing this.
Well, I mean, with all this stuff going on in PA right now, I'm hoping that this starts spilling over into every other state. Because it's a can of worms they really opened up.
Well, this is what I feel. I feel it has to be. Good morning, Cindy. I feel like it has to be because these men are connected. Like, some of these dudes were connected to other states. I believe Ohio was even one of them. So that could be something that maybe opens the door in Ohio. So no matter what state they go to, guess
Yeah.
what? Guess what they're doing?
Boy, he made you jump.
I'm still not used to like having
That was
a
good.
bark in the house. I was like, ew. Pickles, come here, Pickles. Come say hi, Pickle Pie. Yeah. So the fact that this is connected to another state could be the door into.
Yep.
I'm hoping. Baby girl. She's fine. She'll figure herself out.
She's got this. One of these
She's
days,
got
she'll realize that she doesn't need to bark at you when you're unalive.
Well, I think she hears somebody upstairs, so she's still skittish.
I
She's
got you.
still adjust. Yeah, I mean, she's only been here a week and a couple days, so she's still adjusting. Poor baby.
Two of the dogs that we got were super skittish when we first got them. They've gotten better, but they still got those skittish tendencies.
So yes, and maybe the feds are involved. I don't know. I guess they haven't said that yet, so that might not be the case. But I'm thinking at some point in time they're going to have to be involved. And I don't even think that the government does the greatest job of these investigations and holding people accountable. But hey, it's a start. It's a start, and I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I'm excited. Oh, I meant to leave it up there. Of course I'm excited. I was like, take her away. Get her off the screen.
Click on. Well, that's what happens when two people are clicking on and off the comments.
Yeah, we're trying to turn one on, turn one off.
Hey now.
Hey,
my wife's in the room, okay?
We love you, Crystal. We love Crystal. Yes, I so admire those who've been able to speak up. I wrote down the hotline number for PA, but have yet to get the courage to tell the parts of my story in such a public way, and it wasn't nearly as traumatic. I get it, because when I called, my story wasn't even like, my story sucks. Nobody should go through it. And it still is abuse. Like, it's still like perverted, right? It's still like a sexual, perverted, nasty thing to put a child through. But relatively speaking, compared to what some people went through, not that bad. And it was hard for me. So I completely understand. You will call when you are ready, and only then. Nobody can force you. It has to be you when you're ready, because it's a lot, right? Like
Hmm.
you're starting another journey, because this isn't going to be over in a day or a week. This is probably a few years we're looking at, if hopefully not longer, but
And for those of you, I'm going to do a shameless plug here, who want to hear Ryan's story, please go over to my other channel, Former to
don't do it.
Free XJW, and you can hear her story over
Don't do
there.
it. You won't like it. It's horrible. No, I'm just kidding. But maybe
It,
that'll be good if I tell people don't watch it. They will. Don't watch it. It's just what?
yeah, don't watch it.
It's
She's
gross.
very cold in that video.
I'm so cold and heartless. I'm
No,
hot.
I'm referring to that other clip I
No, I
put
know.
in.
I'm so hot.
And if you want to know what that clip is, go check out that video.
I'm gonna Cindy asked for a link, so I'm just grabbing that quickly. Uh
Okay.
is there anything you want to mention? Because I do want to mention what is going on in Iran just quickly
Yeah,
for
mention that real
people.
quick, and then we're gonna end the show
Wrap
after
it up.
that.
You're done. Okay.
Yeah.
So here is the link, because I have a couple things I just want to share quickly. So if you are all familiar with my friend Rabbi Mike Harvey, he's been on a few shows with me. Plus, I've done my own videos and whatnot. We're going to be doing a live tonight on TikTok, and you do have to have a TikTok account in order to watch the live, starting somewhere around 8:30 Eastern or 9 p.m. And we're just going to discuss the Bible, see where it goes. If you have questions, comments, come bring them. We'll just see what happens. Also, he is starting classes. He's going to be doing biblical classes, and I can't wait to start them, because it's going to be more of like a beginner and then work its way up. So I think that's great, because there's always an opportunity for learning. So I'm just putting that in there, and you can donate anywhere from $1 to $20 to take the class. You don't have to, it's just donation based or suggested donation. So that's that. Love Rabbi Mike. He's awesome. Very smart, funny, wealth of information. So here we go. I don't have an actual, oh, yes, I do. Lies. When it comes to what is happening in Iran, if you have been following, there is a woman-led revolution, and I believe it's past the 4-month mark at this point. I'm not even 100% sure, but it's been ongoing for a long time. I wanted to show you, this is the account that I follow, and I usually go through and read their tweets to stay up to date. They're like a very good, a trustworthy source that I have found, that friends that I have made online from Iran trust. So if they trust this person, I trust them. And so far, so good. They are not bombing, excuse me. They are poisoning children, girls' schools. There's been several hundred that have been taken to the hospital because of what they are feeding them. So they're not only poisoning them with gas, they're also poisoning them in their food. Because it's a woman-led revolution, they're going after the young girls. And what else are they doing? I mean, what aren't they doing? They're just, the IRCG they're a group of terrorists. It's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, I believe, the IRGC. They're terrorists. They're terrorists that have taken over that country, and the people are fighting so hard to get it back. So if you don't mind giving this person a follow, because just boosting, liking is a great way to help keep what's happening at the front of the news cycle, because people get bored very quickly, and you find out Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez are having issues, and Haley Bieber, and then all of a sudden people forget what's happening. So that is just my me imploring you to help support our friends in Iran, and
Yeah.
hopefully soon enough they'll get their freedom. I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
Thank you for that update. Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting what they're doing over there to those women.
Yeah. It is. It's horrific, but the fact that they're targeting women, I think, shows you just how deplorable they are, but just how important women really truly are to society, but they don't want to admit it.
It shows you how threatened they are by women.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and if they weren't threatened by them, they wouldn't be doing this. And their to me, their masculinity is absolutely zero when it comes to any of that.
Little
So
bitch ass boys. Oh God,
that's
I'd
right.
love to be in my face with no gun, bitch. It's on. It is on because I'll fight dirty. Trust me. I fight very
Hmm.
dirty.
Hey, I'd
That
fight
is
them
one
dirty
thing I learned
too.
from my mama. Good. I mean, if you see, that's what is scary about me and why I do not like let myself get in those situations, because if it comes to that, like, it's not going to be nice, because I'm
Yeah.
not going to. Watch your eyes, protect your balls. Like, I'm going for it.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Hey,
Okay. Enough of crazy.
nope.
Ryan, have a
That's
good
it.
day.
Let's on that note, let's
She's not been through trauma whatsoever.
right. No, not at all.
I'm sorry,
Anyways,
y'all. I love
we're gonna
you.
wrap
Please
it up here.
don't hate me. Don't hate me. I love you.
Don't hate. Follow her on all the socials and come back and join us again next week for our next edition of Apostate Weekly. Thank you all for watching and joining, and please go support those Twitter pages that she showed, and we'll keep up to date and keep you all up to date with those things as well.
Yes,
So.
and don't forget to go check out James's video on this weirdo. And I think that's enough.
Yeah, I think that's enough.
I think that's enough.
They might have had enough by now, anyways.
Yeah, I think they're sick of us. I'm sick
All
of
right.
us.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
Listen, oh baby, blessed.
Bye.
Bye. Love you, Tony.